I'm thinking again about this inappropriate arousal topic, yeah, I guess I'm just thinking of it in terms of cognitive dissonance, because that seems like the simplest theoretical frame to put around it. Actually, I'm just by this lake here. I've just noticed there's a shoal of huge fish. It's a bit weird. I'm going to put the camera in, but I don't think it'll catch them. I'll just do it in the off chance. Can you see those? There's probably 30 or 40 fish, all of them about 18 inches long. Wow, just below the surface. Anyway, back to cognitive dissonance. That's a bit weird. And yeah, cognitive dissonance, when you're... let me just revise where I'm up to with this. Because the topic is that, you know, at certain times during in abusive situations, rapes, let's say, the person who is being raped, whether it be a man or a woman, might experience sexual arousal, possibly even orgasm. And it's a very confusing and destructive situation. Yeah, I suppose cognitive dissonance is the easiest way to talk about it. You know, part of your mind and body is experiencing pleasure, and the other part is experiencing something very negative. So these things are in complete conflict, and it's not easy to think how they might be resolved. It seems to me there might be kind of three ways of responding to that. And I have to say I haven't really done any research on this, so I'm just speculating where I would look for research. You know, three things that could kind of happen out of that. I mean, one thing, I guess, the most dramatic thing that could happen, which I think I have read somewhere happens in these cases, is that there can be a kind of splitting. You know, the person, you know, was a single unified individual with a single unified personality, you know, kind of divides in some way, because unified personalities can't contain cognitively dissonant contents. That's kind of one of the defining features, really, of a unified personality. And so what happens in those situations is the person disassociates, at least partially, and find themselves in, you know, either adopting two different kinds of personalities at different times, or yeah, some other kind of personality, personality effect happens, which splits them off. They disassociate as a way of relieving the dissonance. I suppose another way to do it would be another response which seems likely, would be that the person basically erases their own personality, or that part of their personality which is negative, and just takes on the position of the aggressor, and just kind of accepts that they had this moment of pleasurable arousal, and takes that as their defining characteristic. That would be a little bit like Stockholm Syndrome, I suppose. Of course, that's equally negative. Those are both disabling, character-destroying effects. The only kind of positive way I can think of it, and I presume this is what counselling would do, would be to redefine what that moment of arousal and pleasure was, really. Because I think as long as the person is saying, I hate this, you know, I am being a victim in this situation, and trying to simultaneously say, I had pleasure, I was aroused, I had an orgasm, that would be a problem. I think they would have to say at that point that it wasn't them that was experiencing the pleasure, it wasn't them that was having the orgasm. I think if they can get to that point, that's probably a healthier place to get to. You know, because when something's done to you, I don't think you can really claim it as yours. You know, none of your intentionality, none of your agency is involved, and that kind of agency, I guess, is pretty significant in any of those personality-defining activities. We can't really be defined by activities that we have no agency within. And I imagine a kind of counselling situation which stresses the agency as the key feature in who one's self is would be really important. Because then you could say, yes, my body underwent some kind of an arousal and my body had an orgasm of some kind. but it wasn't me that did that, because I am not those things. I am something else other than those things. Yeah, I'm not sure if that makes any sense. It's getting very Cartesian, but maybe that's necessary. Maybe Cartesian dualism is an absolutely necessary feature of that kind of process. Yeah.